So first I'm going to do her foundation. I'm going to use this Covergirl Clean foundation. It says for normal skin, but it's going to be good for her skin because she has combination / sensitive skin. And this foundation is water-based. Wow, way more water-based than I thought. Anyway, I'm putting it on the back of my hand. A palette is a good place to put it, but
no primer.
This is just my sister. I forgot primer. Oh well. I'm going to start by just buffing this into her skin. I'm using one of her brushes. It is, I don't know, what brush is this?
I don't know. Avon.
Taylor, this is really dark. This is her foundation, and I chose this one out of like 3 foundations she had. She didn't, okay. I'm gonna have to do something about this because it is very dark. I'm just buffing this in circular motions. Her skin is very moisturized right now, and I had her do a mask. So she's got a really good base for this to be super blendable. And I'm just buffing that all over the place. And it is making her kind of shiny, and Kylie Jenner is matte, so we're definitely going to need a powder to mattify this. Man, who matched this to you? I'm gonna buff a little bit more into her problem areas just to make them a little bit more covered. I'm just gonna mattify her face by tapping that on. It's really important that this look is completely matte. White from the Lorac Pro palette because it's gonna create a matte highlight rather than a shimmery one because Kylie doesn't have shimmer. I'm gonna use this Japanesque concealery type brush, and I'm just gonna dab that on the top of her cheekbones first. So the reason I'm using white eyeshadow for this is because my sister and I are really pale girls, and dark-skinned girls can use, you know, like our skin color as a highlight because it will highlight them. But we don't have anything lighter. So I have to use white if I want a matte highlight. And otherwise, you know, lighter girls have to use shimmer because that's how they're going to reflect light off their face. We're going to get the bridge of her nose. We're going to get center of her chin. You don't have to. Center of her chin. And the center of her forehead and T-zone. And I'm really just patting that. You don't want to rub. I really just don't want to rub. I'm just going to take the Sigma F40 with MAC Blunt, and I'm going to start from like the inside of my sister's ear. Thank you for making the fish face. And I'm just going to trace underneath her cheekbone, blending that really, really solidly. Her temples. Can you bite? One more time. Perfect. It's a good way to tell where your client's temples are and where it will look best to contour on them because everybody is different. And I just drag that down and blend it in. Bite one more time. And then on this side. I mostly tap here and then rub because that's just a really good way to get the shape and then blend. Okay, and then I'm going to use the Sigma E70, which is my favorite for nose contouring, and I'm just gonna trace. I'm not gonna use any blush because I think in a lot of Kylie's looks, blush is not evident, and so I'm not putting too much importance on it. And I'm gonna take this Marc Fluffy Tapered Blending Brush with Makeup Geek Peach Smoothie. So I'm going to prime her eyes using Too Faced Shadow Insurance, which is her favorite primer. And I just use the warmth of my fingers to melt that in. Usually probably don't use fingers on clients, but this client is my family. Okay. And then I'm going to set that using cream from the Lorac Pro palette. Lorac. And the Sigma E60, yes. And I just set that because it makes the shadows that go over it easier to blend, and it keeps the primer itself from creasing like right before you put shadow over it, because primers tend to do that. And I just blend it softly, holding the brush just on the very tip, using circular motions. And we're just going for a neutral matte eye. I'm going to take the Naked Urban Decay Basics palette, and I'm going to be taking the Sigma E40, and I'm going to take Naked 2, which is this shade here. Get my brush in that and then tap off the excess, and then I'm just going to blend that right below Peach Smoothie. And this is a little bit more of a nude color than Peach Smoothie, so it's just going to act as another transition shade for the darker colors we're going to go in with. So I'm going to take Faint on this little Ecotools blending brush that I love. And I'm just going to start really defining the outer V. And I build the color. It's better to keep doing it little by little and build it and make sure it's nice and blended than to start with a lot and have it be harsh. WOS from the palette. And I'm going to pack that onto her lid. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to take Bitten by Makeup Geek. I'm going to take the tiniest little bit on another Ecotools blending brush. And this is what I'm going to use to create the most definition. And this is why I'm calling this Kylie Jenner Inspired tutorial and not Kylie Jenner exact look, I guess, because I don't know if she's really using a burgundy eyeshadow, but when I combine Bitten with a bunch of neutrals, it just really screams Kylie Jenner to me for some reason. I'm not really sure why. And when I do the lips, it's just going to look so gorgeous with a little bit of Bitten thrown in this outer part of the eye. That is just going to make this look absolutely darling. My Sigma E40 with a little bit of Peach Smoothie, and just blend all that out again. Just conceal her under eyes using this NYX concealer just on my finger. I'm going to have you put your head back for this and look up. And I'm just going to dab that under her eyes, and I like using my fingers because the warmth of it really melts it into the skin. And I'm just going to get under here really quickly, and it melts it into kind of her little areas that would crease so that they don't crease. And then keep looking up, and before I even do the next eye, I'm going to set that with Buff from the Lorac Pro 2 palette. I'm just going to take this tiny little blending brush from Ulta that I really like, And I'm gonna take light brown from the Lorac Pro 2 palette. And that's just what I'm gonna use to blend under her lower lash line and create a little dimension under there. Just tell me if you need a blink or look down. Just a little bit of peach smoothie so that there's no harsh line under there. Next, I'm going to tightline her eyes. Avon Supershock mascara, and I'm hoping here I'll just I'll tell you when you can. I'm taking MAC Myth lipsticks. Can I spread your lips like